Hey there. I was thinking I was gonna do a little reading for you guys. It's called Let's Pretend This Never Happened by Lawson, aka the Bloggess. And I do not have any permissions or rights to be reading her work for you. I hope it's okay with her, and feel free to take it down, Jenny, if I've crossed a line. This book is a love letter to my family. It's about the surprising discovery that the most terribly human moments, the ones we want to pretend never happened, are the very same moments that make us who we are today. I've reserved the very best stories of my life for this book, to celebrate the strange and give thanks for the bizarre, because you're defined not by life's imperfect moments, but by your reaction to them, and because there's joy in embracing, rather than running screaming from, the utter absurdity of life. I thank my family for teaching me that lesson in spades. Why, yes, there is a method to my madness. The contents. Introduction. I was a 3-year-old arsonist. My childhood, David Copperfield meets Guns and Ammo magazine. Stanley, the magical talking squirrel. Don't tell your parents. Jenkins, you motherfucker. If you need an arm condom, it might be time to reevaluate some of your life choices. Draw me a fucking dog. And that's why Neil Patrick Harris would be the most successful mass murderer ever. No one ever taught me couch etiquette. Just your average engagement story. It wasn't Stu. Married on the 4th of July. There's no place like home. A series of helpful post-it notes I left around the house for my husband this week. The dark and disturbing secrets HR doesn't want you to know. If you see my liver, you've gone too far. My vagina is fine. Thanks for asking. Phone conversations I had with my husband after I got lost for the 80,000th time. And then I got stabbed in the face by a serial killer. Thanks for the zombies, Jesus. Making friends with girls. I am the Wizard of Oz housewives, in that I am both great and terrible, and because I sometimes hide behind curtains. The psychopath on the other side of the bathroom door. An open letter to my husband, who is asleep in the next room. Just to clarify, we don't sleep with goats. Stabbed by a chicken. It wasn't even my crack. Honestly, I don't even know where I got that machete. A comic tragedy in 3 days. I'm going to need an old priest and a young priest. That's why you should learn to pick your battles. Hairless rats, free for kids only. And then I snuck a dead Cuban alligator on an airplane. You can't go home again unless you want to get mauled by wild dogs. Epilogue, the end, sort of, true facts, acknowledgements. This woman, I adore her. Introduction. This book is totally true, except for the parts that aren't. It's basically like Little House on the Prairie, but with more cursing. And I know, you're thinking, but Little House on the Prairie was totally true. And no, I'm sorry, but it wasn't. Laura Ingalls was a compulsive liar with no fact checker, and probably, if she was still alive today, her mom would be saying, I don't know how Laura came up with this whole I'm a small girl on the prairie story. We lived in New Jersey with her Aunt Frida and our dog Mary, who was blinded when Laura tried to bleach the lightning bolt on her forehead. I have no idea where she got, and we lived in a dugout thing, although we did take her to Carlsbad Caverns once. I suppose that should have been a Jersey accent. Oh well. And that's why I'm better than Laura Ingalls. Because my story is 90% accurate, and I really did live in a dugout. Footnote. I never actually lived in a dugout, but I did totally go to Carlsbad's Caverns once. The reason this memoir is only mostly true instead of totally true is that I relish not getting sued. Also, I want my family to be able to say, oh, that never happened. Of course, we never actually tossed her out of a moving car when she was 8. That's one of those crazy things that isn't quite the truth. And they're right, because the truth is that I was 9. I was sitting on my mom's lap when my dad had made a hard left. The door popped open, and I was tossed out like a sack full of kittens. My mom managed to grab my arm, which would have been helpful if my father had actually stopped the car, but apparently he didn't notice or possibly thought I'd just catch up, so my legs were dragging through the parking lot that I'm pretty sure was paved with broken glass and used syringes. I learned 3 lessons from this experience. 1, that vehicle safety in the late 70s was not exceptional for children. 2, that you should always leave before the officials arrive, as the orangish sting of the medical acid applied by a sadistic ambulance driver will hurt far worse than any injury you can sustain by being dragged behind a car. And 3, that "don't make me come back here" is an empty threat unless your father has been driving for 4 hours with 2 screaming kids and suddenly gets very quiet, in which case you should lock your door or at least remember to tuck and roll. I'm not saying he intentionally threw me out of a moving car. It's just that an opportunity presented itself, and my father is a dangerous man who shouldn't be trusted. Footnote. When I read these stories to friends, I'm always shocked when they stop me and ask, wait, is that true? During the most accurate of all the stories. The things that have been changed are mainly names and dates, but the stories you think couldn't possibly have happened, those are the real ones. As in real life, the most horrible stories are the ones that are the truest. And, as in real life, the reverse is also true as well. Did you notice how, like, half of this introduction was a rambling parenthetical? That shit is gonna happen all the time. I apologize in advance for that, and also for offending you, because you're going to get halfway through this book and giggle at non sequiturs about Hitler and abortions and poverty, and you'll feel superior to all the uptight, easily offended people who need to learn how to take a fucking joke. But then somewhere in here, you'll read one of the random things that you're sensitive about, and everyone else will think it's just hysterical, but you'll think, oh, that is way over the line. And I apologize for that one thing. Honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. All right, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.